Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show presented by COMC, the wonderful folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center. Here we go. This is show number 4 in our series with Jeff and Bob Shore. It's called The Shore Family Football Legacy. It's been about 50 years of Shore football at Camdenton. So in the last show, we were talking about when Jeff was playing for Bob. You guys won 2 straight state championships, and that was 85 and 86?
86, 87.
86, 87, okay. And so you win 2 straight state championships with this guy as your starting quarterback, your son. There's something special about that. There was something special about him as a player.
Well, I guess you could say you couldn't buy that with $1 billion, could you?
You couldn't. And not as a
Have your
dad,
son- yeah.
right?
Be a coach and have your son be the starting quarterback on undefeated 2 state champions. Pretty blessed, pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And I will say this, there's probably not many parents. I mean, it may be in a different area, music, it may be in business, something, but parents like to see their kids are successful. But I want to tell you about having a kid's a good athlete. What was really so fortunate was that such a great bunch of athletes that Jeff grew up with.
Yeah, it wasn't just Jeff. I mean, you don't win a state championship with one guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did his part, and I don't think we'd have got there, but I want to tell you right now, he played with really, really good players. Yeah. I mean, and he completed 28 straight completions at one time. Well, that's Travis Ezra, Lance Dye, and Brad Bowles catching the ball, too.
Yeah.
See, I mean, as well as Jeff being a very accurate passer, and that gets hard to tie, let alone beat.
Unbelievable. Well, and if I'm not mistaken, weren't you and Lance, you were like All-Americans one of those years, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to reiterate what he said. Like, this is neat for us to get to do this show, but I mean, it's, we're very fortunate.
Yeah.
And like I said, I got really lucky to grow up with a bunch of guys that like to play ball. And so I think he put it best. You take me and put me on a different team, and that's not going to be, we're not going to beat the Campton Lakers, but it was that group of guys together. And I think that's what I continue to preach. And coaches, we had, oh my gosh, we had Coach Silverwood, Coach Purge, Coach Hunter. You go down a long litany of guys that were extremely important, all that being said, we were fortunate.
Yeah, you could talk all night about coaches that I've had in this staff, and Mike Silverwood, Jim Purge. I mean, you can't beat those. The combination and the good athletes we had, it was a difficult thing to get better, to work harder, spend more hours. But the thing is, it just wasn't like it wasn't work. It was something we just enjoyed and loved doing. It was the energy was amazing from the kids, and looking forward to the game, and getting ready wasn't a chore. Get ready.
Yeah, it was more than a job. Right?
Yeah, more than a job.
It was fun. It was a way of life.
And it was a little more than a game.
Yeah.
But it was a game to have fun. But what you have to understand, sometimes you look at a junior high team, and they don't do too well. Like the kids that were seniors in '86. But let me tell you something. That Par Pitts and Tim McDuffie and Matt Marsky and Darren Spurgeon, and I could go on and on. Linemen. I mean, they had them.
Yeah.
Jeff's class had some linemen, Corey Craig, some good ones. Don't misunderstand me. And Andy Everly, but they had this speed in the backs, and it went together. Because, see, you don't play one class against the other, play all 3 against.
Yeah.
And it fit so well, and it's always so important for it to fit together.
Yeah.
And those kids, I tell you what, they were a unique bunch, but we've had a lot of them. Those guys in '05, the Forrest Shocks of the world, Mickey Turners, they loved it. I mean, they could not wait for Friday night and that kickoff, and I couldn't either.
Well, and part of it too is, Mr. Quarterback, long flowing hair, you got all the attention, But if you didn't have those hogs up front, the big guys, the big linemen up front, you guys wouldn't have won state championships. So it takes everybody.
You make a good point right there. People say, well, to be a championship team, you got to have good defense. To be a championship team, you got to have a good everything.
Yeah.
You can't be weak in anything, or you get exposed.
Somebody's going to beat you.
People are too good, and the road is too long. Week in and week out, you'll get exposed, and that's why the best football teams I've had, I didn't have to hide anything. If you want to cover us tight, we'll go deep. If you want to drop off, we'll run.
Yeah.
If you want to load the box, we'll throw. Defense, you want to try to throw.
Somebody needs to teach Andy Reid that, right? But that's a whole nother
Well, that's
show.
a whole other
All
story,
yeah.
exactly.
So you guys win 2 straight championships together,
Right.
As a junior and a senior. When did you come back and start coaching with your dad?
Well, I always wanted to. That was my whole deal. I had the unique perspective, or I do, that even he doesn't have, in this, that I've played for the Lakers, and I've coached for the Lakers.
Yeah.
So that's a unique perspective that I bring to the table as well. And so, like many kids growing up here, you just want to. I mean, I'd rather have the autograph of those high school players when I was young than any NFL guy. And a lot of those kids here are still like that, which is fantastic. So, my whole goal was I loved it here. I loved like the Ozarks, and I wanted to get back, and I wanted to have a chance to coach with him. So I spent time in college, went to University of Arkansas, played football there, and then transferred to Missouri State, finished out my career there, and got a job down in Branson and coached a couple of years there. Had a chance to take a head coaching job in the Springfield area, and I just couldn't do it. I had to, I wanted to get home. And so I wanted to coach with him, but I also wanted to coach for the Lakers,
Right.
because all that had done so much for me. So so that was my whole goal, is to get back and coach with him. And fortunately, my wife was all for it, Stacy, and a chance to do that. I didn't think I'd get to do it for 15, 16 years. I didn't know you were going to coach that long.
Yeah.
So I really got lucky on that, and got a chance to learn a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And time to do it and raise my kids and not be in that position of being a head coach and the time it takes and everything else, and let him take care of all that hard stuff and ride his coattails for a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's a pretty good deal.
That's amazing. Okay, so this is the Shore Family Football Legacy. This is show number 4 of many. So if you see this and you think you've already seen it, there's plenty of other shows. And we're talking now about when Jeff started coaching with his dad, Bob, and we'll have more on that right after this. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center is growing in our community with a new dental location to serve you in Eldon and a new location in Lorry. COMC also makes your children a priority with a mobile dental unit serving schools in rural areas where access can be a challenge. COMC also offers OBGYN, sports medicine, pediatric, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. What is COMC? A health center where everyone has access to high-quality, affordable medical, dental, and behavioral health care, regardless of insurance or ability to pay. Offering primary care, preventative, chronic, pediatrics, and OBGYN. COMC even offers comprehensive dental and same-day emergency care. A health center that focuses on every aspect of your health. Everything your family needs to stay healthy. At COMC, your health is our mission. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show. This is the Shore Family Football Legacy, show number 4. So we've got a whole series of shows on how Bob came in, took the program over in 75, started going to the state championships in 77. You guys won 2 state championships when you were playing. You went away, went to college, played football, got into coaching, but then you came back and started coaching with your dad. What year was that?
96 was my first year. And I started at the lowest level. I started at the junior high level.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, coaching eighth grade football, which I loved. I mean, it gave me a chance to do that and volunteer on the varsity. So, I kind of learned it from the ground up and did my due diligence, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And I had a
it's
lot
like starting out in the mailroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I did that and volunteered. And then an opening came. 96, my first year back, we actually went to the state championship again and got beat by Excelsior Springs. But that was a great, it was fantastic, obviously fantastic season for me to get to be a part of. And then got an opening, and I was basically the guy that kind of handled the kickoff teams and the did all the film work and you know, kind of the grunt guy on that kind of stuff, and was really on the defensive side of the ball, trying to learn a little bit of that with Coach Silverwood, and he taught me a lot and learned a lot from these guys, and really spent a lot of time on the defensive side of the ball trying to help out there.
Well, he became defensive coordinator.
And then later became, at his last year coaching, became defensive coordinator, and that really gave me a perspective from both sides of football. You know, I was an offensive-minded guy, so and I really liked defense. So, got to do that. And I tell you, he and I have always gotten along real well. It's been a great situation. But I do remember the one time we played Joplin. I don't know if you remember this or not, but this would be a good story for you. It's, and I'd watched, 100 hours of film, and the tight end from Joplin had only gone out 6 times and throw it to him 1 time, and 8 ball games. So we were worried about that, and we wanted to send the defensive ends off the edge and not worry about holding the tight end up. And so I said, hey, we're going to do that. He says, no, we got to hold the tight end up. I said, well, hey, I went through my spiel. I think we can get some heat on the quarterback, and he said, well, you can do that, but if they complete one to the tight end, some bad things are going to happen, And that's the only time I said, well, all right, I'll take it if they do, but I'm going to tell you not. And fortunately, they didn't send the tight end out that long. We got great heat on the quarterback and sacked him 8 times, and I was all right. But that was one time I was sweating it. But
Absolutely.
That was one of those where you feel like you've done enough film study and you're willing to bet on it.
And I'm going to bet the farm on that one. Yeah.
So, that's the way that went. I still remember the day he decided he was going to get out, which nobody really wanted him to get out. We're sitting down at the track, and it was March or April, I can't remember, right around there. I said, hey, you ready? I said, well, I don't think anybody else wants the job, so nobody else wants to take your place, so I guess I am ready.
Wow.
I better be.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm done. And that was it.
I bet you guys, though, being football lifers that you are, I mean, you guys live and breathe football, right? So every family outing, you're probably sitting over there at the table talking football, right?
Well, quite a bit, yeah. It's a natural
Just
thing.
a little, yeah.
And Jeff, whenever, like he said, as a player, he's played free safety, he returned punts, he did things. When he started coaching, he went down to Branson.
Yeah.
And it was a good idea because Steve Hancock's a good coach, a hard-working coach. And we were friends, and that's a good experience for him. Now, what people don't know is that Dr. Matthews at Springfield, they wanted to hire him as the head coach at Hillcrest.
Yeah.
And he came back here, but see, I didn't have a position open at the high school. So he went to the junior high, which is, to me, it was a big plus for me.
Yeah.
Because I had a junior high coach who motivated kids, got them out and taught them, and that's so important. And I've always had good junior high coaches to bring those people along, good coaching staff. So that was a win-win deal for me, but as time went, whenever a job opened at the high school, we might have more than one non-varsity coach apply. But like I told him, it's not a matter of the fact he's my son. It's a matter of fact he's been offered about 3 or 4 head jobs, and if he were to go to apply for one, they'd hire him.
Yeah, he'd be gone.
And I'm going to hire him too.
Yeah,
See?
absolutely. And so you turned down a head coaching job in Springfield to come be an 8th grade coach at Camdenton.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is.
It was a great decision, too. Let me tell you.
Exactly. At the time, again, we talked about this in an earlier show. Your first state championship, you lost it by 1 point, but the program won, even though you lost the game.
Thanks. Oh, yeah.
In a decision like that, I mean, it doesn't. Some people might not understand it, but that was a winning decision. I mean, for your life, because look what it's turned out to be.
Oh yeah, and, beyond football, he's done a good job of teaching me that keep it in perspective. And that's something people don't realize about him, and even our program we try to do a pretty good job of that. And not be overly demanding of the kids and those kind of things. So
It is just a game.
yeah, it's a game, and I think that's kept people out for football.
All right, so we're running out of time, so we're going to have to pick it up from here in the next show. I can see you're ready to go.
Well,
So,
I got a point to make.
okay, we'll let you make it in show number 5
I'll make it in 5 or 6 or 7 or 10.
here on the Shore
About
Family
midnight tonight.
Football Legacy,
My wife's calling, wondering where I'm at.
right here on Lake TV.